Yo, good morning, family. This is Trayvon Jones Conscious Talk Channel, Trayvon Jones Conscious Talk Channel, where I like to talk to the black community. I like to talk to my people. Thank you for coming in and joining me. I wanted to talk to you guys about black history, just a little bit, and, the importance of black history. Black history is very, very important because we need to be able to pass information on to our children and the next generations. It's very important that we talk about these things and pass these on because when we are given our history, we're giving someone else's history, someone else's depiction of our history. Our history has been distorted, because other people are telling our history. In a lot of these schools, they're trying to remove a lot of our history. They're trying to downplay a lot of our history, and we can't let that happen. It's very important that we teach our children and to teach our children to teach their children to pass this information on and who they are and where they come from. Very important. Because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And you have to understand, we are in the land of our enemies. Now, what enemy do you know that will teach you about your history correctly? Who you are correctly? They're going to tell you what they want to tell you. They're going to teach you what they want to teach you. And so it's very important that we tell our story correctly. But I wanted to talk about this young man who lost his life. Now, we all heard of Emmett Till, and if you have not heard of Emmett Till, you need to check Emmett Till out. Emmett Till was a young, black, young man. I believe he was 14 or 15 years old, and he was visiting, some relatives, and supposedly he whistled at a white woman. This white woman didn't take kindly to that, and she reported him to the law. And a bunch of white men collectively got together, and they drugged this boy, and they mutilated his body, and they killed him. When Emmett Till's mother got his body back, his body was just destroyed. His face was swollen. He had been beaten, and just utterly just destroyed. His body had been in the water, and when your body sits in the water for a while, it really can mess your body up. You know what I'm saying? And his body was discolored, and it was just, and here's the thing. You can go online and you can see his funeral. You can see his the pictures of his before and afters, because he was a handsome young man. And they just beat him to a bloody pulp, and the way they left him was horrible. And the mother was so devastated, but she wanted the world to see what they did to her son. She wanted the world to see that. She wanted the world to see that we live in a land of our enemies, and this is what your enemies will do to you. Let me be clear. We need to make sure and we need to understand who our enemies are. Our forefathers and our ancestors, they knew who our enemies were. They would turn over in their graves if they saw us, mixing in and intermingling the way that we do with our enemies. Dating them and marrying them, having children with them. Our ancestors would turn over in their graves. They really would. Because there was a time that our ancestors, if they got pregnant with one of their enemies' babies, with a white man's baby or some other, nationality's baby, they would kill that baby. They would kill it. They didn't want it. They didn't want that seed. Because that's what it is. It's a seed. It comes from the seed of this deranged people. They didn't want that. But some kind of way along the way, we just embraced, our enemies' children and seeds and, things like that, But our ancestors, they didn't do that. They didn't do that, family, But we are a product of America. The Negro, who we are now, we are a product of America because we didn't start off like this, family. We have such a rich heritage. We do. We really do. But we need to come back to it. We need to find out who we are. And we need to make this the generation that we change our way of thinking. Because we pass down our way of thinking from generation to generation to generation. And it is getting us absolutely nowhere. We keep passing on these sins and all these problems onto our children. Celebrating all these terrible holidays and, all these type of things. But family, I wanted to read to you guys. Before Emmett Till, 23-year-old George Armwood was dragged from jail, hanged and burnt in 1933. Before the brutal murder of 14-year-old Emmett Till in 1955, the harrowing story of George Armwood in 1933 had sent shivers down the spines of people of Maryland. Armwood was dragged from his cell, stabbed, and then lynched on a tree before some 2,000 white folks and Princess Anne baying for his blood. But the horror was not over as he was brought down, burnt, his charred body dragged through the town with his body parts thrown towards the quarters of the blacks to make sandwiches with. Armwood was 23 years old by most accounts when he allegedly assaulted a 71-year-old white woman, Mary Denston, whose son was a policeman. The Maryland State Archives reveal Armwood lived in Pocomoke City and worked as a laborer for a white employer, John H. Richardson, before his murder. It is uncertain that what triggered the assault, which Armwood didn't deny. He was said to be quiet and generally well-liked, although friends reckoned he was feeble-minded or mentally ill. They used to like to put that on us, a lot, family. They used to like to call us mentally ill and, kind of like what they do to us today when they say that we have ADHD and, attention deficit and things like that. Same thing. They put that and they targeted him because he was a likable young man. He was, easygoing, real quiet, timid young man. And for some reason, and, they wanted to just kill him because he didn't fit the stereotype that they like to place on us. He was a good young man. And unfortunately, sometimes people don't like that. You could just be a good person and people would find a reason to attack you. According to the Maryland State Archives, on October 16, 1933, Denson was walking down the road near a field in Princess Anne, Maryland, when Armwood allegedly assaulted her. She then filed a complaint with the police, who then arrested Armwood. The archives reveal Richardson, Armwood's employer, may have attempted helping Armwood to flee, but the latter was arrested by the police in Former's house. While some accounts suggest Armwood raped the elderly woman, other accounts know Armwood acknowledged attacking the woman but never assaulted her sexually. Don't believe that, family. That boy didn't do anything to her, and if he did say something to her, it was probably like, bitch, get your ass up out of my face, quit fucking with me, I ain't fucking with you, why you fucking with me? And just that alone will get you killed, because white people today are trying that shit. Caroline, corner store Becky, they try that shit. Cornerstone Becky bumped into a little black boy in a store with his mother, and then she said that he bumped into her and touched her ass. These people have not died out. They're still here today. These type of demonic individuals are here today. Nothing has changed. So while we're thinking this is 2020, and we're in a new day and time, and racism is gone, it's still here. It's still here, family. And we need to understand it, and we need to stop being in la la land and fucking all these people and making babies with these people. They're evil. Armwood was safely taken to Salisbury jail, miles away from Princess Anne, to avoid mob justice, as there had been lynching 2 years prior of another black man named Matthew Williams. So we're going to talk about him, some other time, Matthew Williams. So let's keep that name in mind. By 5 o'clock, a mob was forming, and Armwood was transferred to Baltimore for safekeeping. Yeah, they was just holding him there, to make sure that, they wanted to keep him there until they decided to gather his ass up. According to the archives, but the locals piled pressure on Somerset County Judge Robert F. Dewar and State Attorney John Robbins to return Armwood from Baltimore. Eventually, Governor Albert Ritchie yielded, of course. Armwood, upon his return to Somerset County, was placed on the second floor of the jail with other black prisoners. A crowd quickly assembled at the jail with two 15-foot timbers as battering rams and breached the jailhouse doors. They was trying to get his ass. They were trying to get him, although they didn't have any proof that this young man did any of these things. You have to understand, you have some groups of people that are just inherently evil. They were made that way. They were born to be that way. They were made to be evil. And it doesn't take much to rile them up so that they can come and, kill you. With Armwood in their hands on October 18th, 1933, an 18-year-old white boy immediately cut off his ear with a butcher knife. Sick. Like, let's get on with it. What's the hold up? Let's get on with this lynching. Paul. The growing mob then beat Armwood nearly to death and dragged him to a tree, of course, where he was hanged. Afterwards, the mob cut down his corpse, dragged it through the streets, hanged it again, and then staged a public burning. A public burning, family. There were white men, white women, and white children that participated in the savage orgy. So the little children were involved too. So those sweet little innocent little children that we see, they're evil too. The women, they were there watching it too. Now you have to think about this for a minute, family. How could you see someone being hanged, burned, killed, and you smell their burning flesh, family, and then you go home and go cook dinner for your family? That's a deranged, sick-ass individual, and that's where our enemies come from. They come from that. And that wasn't that long ago, family. This wasn't that long ago. This was not that long ago. Emmett Till, that was 1955. My mother was alive then. My mother, my grandfather, and grandparents, and that's not that long ago. Not that long ago, family. The Afro-American reported that the mob danced around Mr. Armwood's charred remains. They were having a party, y'all. They used to like to just cut off body parts and give them away as souvenirs, and and they would give out postcards and send them out. This is our history in America, family. They would send out postcards with our bodies burning. Yeah. Yep. The report quoted one white man who said it would have cost the state $1,000 to hang this nigger. It cost us 75 cents. Armwood's lynching sparked a national outcry and calls for prosecution of the culprits. Yet investigations at the county, state, and federal levels face obstacles and delays. Even when finally presented with identifying evidence, the county prosecutors refused to act. When the Maryland Attorney General ordered troops to arrest 8 named participants, white residents who supported the alleged killers waged riots of protest. 4 white men were ultimately tried for the lynching of Armwood and were acquitted by an all-white jury. Amber Geiger, anyone? Yeah, the bitch, yeah, she got 10 years, but the bitch was basically acquitted for murdering a black man in his own home, family. He was eating a bowl of ice cream or some cereal watching TV. This bitch says she comes to the wrong door. This cave-dwelling savage beast goes to the wrong door, she says, and kills an innocent black man and only gets 10 years. And the whole time, that coon-ass judge, Tammy Kemp, that coon bitch, coddling her. You had the police officers, that were there, petting her, rubbing her hair, family, we need to know who our enemies are. It is very important that we know who our enemies are and that we stay on code. And that we collectively get together. Black men, I need us to be together, to be unified. Black men, we need to be unified and be the lions that we are supposed to be. That's what we need to do. Laws make a society thrive. It is what distinguishes humans from beasts, but a community of over 2,000 people chose to inflict such barbaric atrocities on an accused man. The crowd surely had men, women, and children who were religious. They were Christians, y'all. Yet could not forgive and let the law take its course. But what are we always told? Oh, let the law take its course, when we're done unjustly. But these Christians, they couldn't wait to let the law just take its course. They drug this quote unquote feeble-minded young man who was working every day. He wasn't a thug and a criminal, with his pants hanging down. He wasn't, a thug, but I'm sure that that was talk of that when they were dragging his body out. He's a thug, he's a criminal, he's this, he's that. Yep. This is our history, family. In the case of Armwood, no one was ever charged or indicted for his lynching, despite 42 witnesses testifying to seeing the act, including black prisoners who were at the Princess Anne jail when he was dragged out. We still live in an unjust society, family. And I don't care how you want to run out and vote and all that kind of stuff. In some instances, I believe that your vote may count. But let me be clear. They're going to pick and choose who they want to be the president. The president has already been chosen before you go out and vote. I'm just going to let you know that right off the bat. Look at The Simpsons. The Simpsons predicted that Donald Trump was going to be the president of the United States. See, what the media likes to use, and this is our enemy, our enemies like to use media. That's one of their things that they like to use to destroy us, is media. But what they like to do is censor, to desensitize us. They put the truth out in front of us, and we don't believe it. They make it like a joke. We don't believe it. We go, oh, that's not going to happen. He's a reality star. Trump is a reality star. Him being president, yeah, right. But This is already quote unquote predicted, or was it really predicted? There was no prediction. This was already planned out, family, that Trump was going to be the president. But they put things in our faces, so that, our brains can subconsciously get used to it. Even though we may not remember it, but subconsciously we'll remember it. And then the whole time that Trump was running for president against Hillary and all these other candidates and shit like that, we were laughing at like, he's a reality star. He's not gonna... We all just knew Hillary was going to win, right? Wrong. And I got news for you, family. Trump is going to win again. You got a lot of black folks. I love my family, but sometimes we can just be so just deceived and just... I mean, we can be just silly at times, But you have a lot of people who are just saying, and I flat out tell them, Trump is going to win again. He's going to win because I said he was going to win the first time. And a lot of people were getting upset with me like I have the power to pick and choose who's going to be the president. I said Trump's going to win the first time. Why do you say that? We don't want him to win. I don't want him to win either. I don't want Hillary to win. I don't want none of them to win. Because that bitch is evil. Hillary Clinton is evil. The Clintons are evil. In their reign, they had a lot of people killed. Let's just get that straight. But they put these things out in our faces, family. And, and I'm telling people, look, Trump's going to win again, and a lot of black people especially are out there saying, well, no, you just have to go out there and vote. We have to collectively get together and vote. We have to vote, collectively get together. Well, let's all do that. Let's all do that. And then when he wins, we're going to all say, well, we didn't all go out and vote. I believe in certain instances, your vote may count. When there's certain laws that need to be passed and, things of that nature. But the president have already been chosen, family. The presidents, they've already been chosen. They've already been chosen. So we need to understand that. And we need to get that straight, family. But I'm going to get out of here. But what I want everybody to just take with them is that we need to remember our history. We need to know who we are. Because in not knowing who we are, we get caught up in this society trying to fit in and thinking because we have a good job, that we're not a slave. Judge Tammy Kemp, you're still a slave. Yeah, you make good money, but you're still a slave. I know you're for, the white man and you want to, see the black man down. As long as you're up, you're okay with stuffing on your own people. That's Oprah Winfrey. That's Gayle King. That's Susan Rice. And a slew of other women. Excuse me, family. It's amazing to me how Oprah Winfrey can give marital advice. Because she's the mother of know-it-all. She can give marital advice. She's never been married. She can tell you what candidate you should pick. She can tell you all those things. She can tell you how to raise your children. She's never had any children. You know what I'm saying? This woman is a billionaire, but she wants to teach all of us how to have, money equality and shit like that. Stop listening to this psychotic bitch. Quit listening to Oprah Winfrey and her little sidekick Gayle King. Quit listening to these bitches. And Susan Rice, when she was doing what she was doing, she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything under the Obama administration. Nothing. And she married a white man. So fuck her too. She's a sellout and a coon-ass bitch. So fuck Susan Rice too. Fuck her. That's self-hate. And they step on their own people just to get a check, to fit in this society. And it's funny to me, in society, there's more black people and brown people than there are white people. But yet, some kind of way, we're the minority? We have to change that narrative, family. And it starts with the new generation today. We have to change our way of thinking. That's the key. Change your way of thinking. Because it don't make any sense why we don't have anything, family, when we are the majority. We're constantly told that we're the minority, but look around. We're the majority. Why don't we have anything? I'm going to need you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you guys press that thumbs up. Press that subscribe button. Very important because I'm building up my subscribers. And I'm going to get out of here. And I love you, family. Shalom. I want all of you guys to stay up. And I will see you all on the next video. Peace out.